Everyone, today we'll be creating a custom shoe sole today, and you can either use it for a personal project or a school project, and you'll be able to customize it such that you can insert it into a normal shoe or make it part of it. Make the shoe from scratch as well. So we'll go from create document, name it shoe sole, and we can make our sketch on the top face. Once we have this, we're going to think about how we're going to model it, and the best way to model it is after an actual shoe anatomy. So I just searched up what a basic palm foot anatomy would look like, and then I found a good one that I see. And I'm just going to save this image as palm foot 3, and then we have that there. And now we can insert it in using the insert image function here, and then we're going to say import, and then we import the image. And once you import it, it imports here into the project as well, and it shows up here as 2. And now after you select it, you can start drag it out. And now you want to constrain the middle and the center, the corner and the center, so I'll just click both of them and click coincident. After we do that, we want to make our dimensions. So we want our side or our length to be around 11 inches. So we'll just do that, 11 inches, and zoom out and see how it looks. And we see that our units are not in inches right now, so we can go to workspace units and change it to inches. Cool. Now that we're here, we can start modeling our shoe sole. So that's going to be, the best way to use it is just using splines, and we can just do a general shape around the foot that we see, and then we can edit it along as well. And then now we have a general shape, we can start editing all the things. And try to make it such that it looks like what a normal shoe sole would. Does it look like a normal shoe? There's some places that you can edit to make it look better. And once you think that it looks pretty general and that it's good to move on from, then you'll have it there, and then you can click check mark. After that, you'll click your selection, your shape, and hit extrude right here or shift E, and then we're going to do around 0.2 inches and click yes. So we have that right here. We have our model shoe sole, and we're going to start making some edits on top of it. So click sketch and then the top surface here. One thing we can add here is arch support, high arch support. So many times we have the high arch in our foot, and adding support to it will reduce the strain on it since it's in the air and there's a lot of stress on the tendons and muscles in that area. So adding this will aid in that aspect. So one thing that we can do to make this is to put a little cushion up right here, and that would go and press against the arch. So we can start that off by making a spline and just do it in the general area you think that the arch would be. And after you do that, you can just mess around, see how it fits, what you think looks decent. And once you do that, you can select the face, hit extrude, and I think around 1 inch is good for the heel arch in that aspect. And you can also have the image for reference here to see where the arch is going to be. And then I'd say it's about 1 inch for the extrude. And then now we're going to click on this right edge right here and click fillet. And that's going to smooth out the edge that we will have right here and aid with that. So I'm going to say radius, full width, and if you want it even more, you can see how we can adjust it. And adjust it to however you would like. And after that's there, do that. And if you don't want the sketch to be anymore, you can just hide it. Cool. Now that we have that, we can add another thing, which is the heel cup. So as you know, our heel has this very small area that's in contact with the ground, but there's a large force being applied since your entire body weight is practically on your heel and the toes and the heel and the palm of the foot that are touching. So the heel has a massive force per cube inch. So per square inch. So therefore, it's good to give some support to the area and relieve some of that tension. So one way to do that is add support around the heel. So there's going to be like a little cup that goes around. So there's many ways to do it. Well, one way here is we're going to make a sketch. We're going to extrude it up. And then we're going to make a rotation of a spherical object here to make to model what the heel would be. So we can just do 3-point arc and then now this is one area where I think it would be helpful to see where the heel would be. So around this area, maybe a little bit more, like around there. And I think that my arch could be a little bit more up. So I'll move that up a little bit too. And then if it looks good, that's that. And now hide it there. You see that? Now I have this heel area here. I'm going to extrude it up by 1 inch. And it says that there are some changes there that need to be made. I don't believe it's with here. It seems to be with the intersection. Let's see. Okay, since that same point is used in 2 extrusions, that it's making that. So that means that we can just click X here, and in our sketch 2, we'll move this a little back. We can make our 3-point arc, but we'll use it a little bit back right here. We can do that. I'm going to use my sketch again to gauge where that would be. To gauge where the heel will be, and I think that's generally okay. Maybe we can do that, and then once that's good, I'm gonna have this here, and then we'll extrude it up. And we can extrude up however much we want. Let's see. Let's say 2 inches this time, just to see how it would be. Okay, now that we have that, we can hide our first sketch again. And we have this here. So now that we have our sketch, let's do one more thing. Instead of having this right here, instead of adjusting it every single time, one thing we can do is go to this right hand side at the variable table, and we can insert a new variable name. So let's do heel height. And then let's say 2 inches for now. But now we can, right here, we can say heel height instead. And every single time we change this, that changes as well. So if you want 2 inches right now, it will be there. And to hide it, you just click it again. Okay, so now we want to extrude a circle out of this area basically. So we're going to make a sketch on top of here. And we're going to want to draw a 3-point circle. So you can start where you would like. And let's actually do a center circle, so C. So go around the area you want right here. And you can have a sketch in view to see where the ball of the foot is. So the ball of the foot is right around there. So I'll say that the heel is about that size. And so we can make it a little bit smaller here to aid in that. And now we're going to draw a line through it, through the center. And we're going to use this to rotate. So now that we have that, we're going to use the revolve and choose the revolve axis as this right here. And then we're going to choose the half section as we saw before as our face. And it's going to remove. And now we can see it properly, but it is actually removing from our heel. So one thing here is that we see that it's only during that one small part there. But since the heel is going to be, we want it to be deeper inside, one thing that we can do is either, so we can just click enter right here. Either we make this circle bigger itself. So we can delete this outer circle honestly. Either we make the circle bigger and then you see that this hole becomes bigger, or we change the heel height, so let's say 1 inch, and then we see this also goes down and actually goes through the foot, and we do not want that, as that would not be a great shoe sole honestly. So then we go back to our sketch 3. We reduce the size of the circle. It's about there. And then now, if you like, you can extrude this outer surface up a little bit. And you say, oh, this may be a bit too much, it's a bit less. Maybe you actually want to go down a little bit. And you can start to remove. You can see how that looks. But if you don't like it, you can just move it back. And then now you have this here. And now you can start using the fillet options again. So you can select all these edges right here. And then you can click fillet. And adjust how much it does. And do the edges here. Sides. There. I think the sides actually, we'll leave them for now. We can use this one right here. But for this one, we're gonna edit it up right now. And then we have that. This is just for aesthetics, basically. And we can look at it, how it looks like here. It's kind of getting there. I guess you guys are seeing the vision. And now we see that there's this little area that we might want to include if we wanted. So we can go back to our sketch 2, I believe. We can create a little arc. And then we have this extrude up, do it to the surface. Do up to face, up to here, around that, and then now we can do the fillets on here as well. Just search the entire. And then we see that some of the fillets here are actually intruding with that. So either can mold the surface. Change the radius. Oh yeah, so you can play around in that sense. See how that looks. And if you don't like it too much, it shouldn't be too bad. And then for this extrude, sketch 2. So I'm just going through the sketch again right here and trying to see if we can actually modify it so that we can use the entire area here. So those are some things that you can look for. And then you realize that, oh, there's a better way to model it. And that'll also help in the process. Use some fillets here, cut up some points, and then around. Yep. Yeah. So just play around, see how it looks for that. And now there's one more thing that you can add. So we can also add a footprint to the area. So the footprint, as you guys know, you can just put different types of footprints on the bottom if you're going to actually use it as a shoe itself, and that also add in pressure distribution and that sort of things. So we can start with a sketch on the bottom side and try to draw a kind of pattern that you like. Maybe I'll start off with just some circles here, maybe. And now I want all of these to be concentric. So I want them all to be around each other. And so that's around. So then I can move all of these together. And so now what I want there to be is, maybe I want this big line to be down the side. So if I want that, maybe I can do a spline. I can do that. And then hit exit, and then I do another spline here. Like that. And then maybe I want some, I don't know, maybe I want some squares. So we can put some maybe we can put 0.3, 0.3, then we have a square here. And then let's see if we can rotate this square. So either we can use the transformation feature, transform, and select all of those together, and then we hit transform and turn it around to 45 degrees. Like that. And now we have our corner square here, and then with this corner square now what we're going to do is we can start to make a linear pattern. So for a linear pattern, what you will do is that we're going to select our object that we want. So that's going to be this right here, the square. And then after selecting the square that we want to start creating that. So we can go to search tools and linear pattern, and then we'll see a bunch of these symbols. So this one right here is the distance between, is the actual dimension of our square, and then this one is how many times you want it in this direction. So I'll say maybe 4. I want 4 layers. And how many do you want in this direction? I want to keep it at 3. And you can use this right here to start to move it around. And you can use this to spread it out. And you can start to play around. Maybe you need an extra column here. You can start to see the different things that you can add on just for pattern's sake. And actually, maybe I'll add a 5th one. Or a 7th one. And then you can see that even though some come off, we can select which ones are extruded, so it's fine if it's a little bit like that. So maybe I just want it to be like that a little bit. And once I'm done, I just left click, and then they all become a thing. And then I want something to happen, I want this to be on the other side as well. So I'll just select all 4 sides, I'll click Ctrl and V, and I can move this over here, or on the top. Maybe the top is better, right here. And I can do the same thing. So then I'll click a linear pattern of this. Oh. I'll just choose 4 things. Control V, Control C. We'll have this. And I'll place it in the corner right here. Left click. It's placed. Create a linear pattern. All 4 sides are there. And now let's do 4. There, maybe 3. And then if it goes away like that, you can still hit transform. Click the sides. You can right click and hit edit pattern as well. So then it'll come up again. And you can start to edit it however you'd like. So this one is here, and this 2x is all over here. So we can put this at 7. And maybe I want them a little bit closer together. 4. Closer. And then right click once I'm done, if I like it. And then maybe I want, say like 9, because there's like a little bit more area here. And then once we have the general shape that we would like, we can start to edit the other ones as well, just in case it's not what we'd like. Also add a point onto it. just keep on editing around, see how you like it. And then now you can start making the extrudes. So click extrude, and you can choose which patterns you would like. So here I want to keep some of these edge patterns. Right there. Do this one too. And then just check around, see what works out. And you click. This is on 1 inch right now, so I'm going to do 0.1 inch. And then you have your footprint pattern. And then that's a general idea. One thing I also added here was little pressure points, like little spheres. They can be added so that it also distributes the pressure more. It's the same idea. So on our sketch 2, we can just put a little circle. And then we can do a linear pattern, not the circle. Let's say like 5. Move this together. So let me sort of maybe this 5 again. You adjust those. See if you want to move them down a little bit. Just how you'd like them. And then also through all of them, you also want to include, which is important actually. Oh yeah, one thing that should be included here, and especially in the sketch for the circle. So when you're drawing the circle, you also want to include a little line through it so that we can rotate it around once we're done. So then just select that and the line. 5x, 5x. See how you want it framed in there. Okay, you have that. And then now what you can do is you can go ahead and revolve each one of those. So we're going to revolve each of these sketches. So let's just sketch one out right here. And then for the revolve axis, you can use one of those. And then do one direction, and we'll do 180 degrees. Cover the entire space. And we'll be adding on. And then we can I believe we can duplicate these as well. You can make a linear pattern of the entities. So feature pattern, part pattern. Let's see if the feature pattern works. The direction. This direction. And the direction would be the right face. And then once you have that, you're going to have the instance cont here. So I'm going to say 5. And I want a second direction 2. And then I want this to be 5. And the direction for this is going to be the front face. That. and then you can specify the distance here. So distance is going to be 0.8 inch. We just keep adjusting until something you like fits. And then 0.8 inch. And once that's done, just hit enter, and then we have that. So it turns out that we didn't need the original sketch that we made with the linear pattern here. So that's one thing to take into account. And once you have that, you have a general sketch that you can use. You can print it out. You just use the export feature here. Export. You can rename it, and then you export as STL, and you can send it to your printer. But yeah, if you have any other questions, please let me know. And I hope you guys have a fun time CADing. Thank you.